person visits fade, and you sent an article to me from the New York Times. It was from 2012 that it basically is in-person visits fade as jails set up video units for inmates and families. And see, I, not being incarcerated anytime within the last 150 years, didn't realize that the United States was doing this, and it's been spreading. And, I'm looking at something, the Department of Corrections in Westchester County somewhere, where they have video conferencing systems so that the children and the families of these inmates can visit. I didn't know it was actually more prevalent in the States than I thought it was.
Yeah, and that's when this is the thing, people. I was doing my research and I suddenly thought, oh, this is a good one. This is the proof of what I was talking about. And I was wondering if anyone had started doing it. And that's why I was looking for it. And I thought, oh, yeah, I found it now. So I was really happy because I thought, yes, that proves that, yes, it does work.
Right. Yeah. In my thought process, I was going into the glass half empty phase. You have the half full, half empty. And I was thinking of the possibility of people just being like right now, I'm in my house and I have my T-shirt on. Okay. And I'm doing the show and I'm producing. And if I had a camera on and the world could see me, I wouldn't want people seeing these old fat man arms that I've got. I'm not chiseled. And so, it would be different also I thought that there might be like a visit and somebody could be visiting from their home and they may, as a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you're visiting online with your significant other and you may be sitting there with no clothes on. That's.
They got to keep themselves real. They don't need to do things like that. Showing everybody their business like that.
Right. And so if they have video visitation centers, I can see that.
Yeah, exactly. Keep your clothes on, keep it clean now. But the point I'm making is, this is why my family member said to me, because I think because when I used to give them grief about it, I said, okay, if it's the problem that you don't want to turn on your camera because you may look crazy and you don't want to see you, I said, look, don't worry about that, right? You don't have to turn on your camera. The reason I wanted to do it is because obviously we can talk video and audio or just audio. I was trying to say that to them and I think I've had to reiterate that a few times because they're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, why not? And then I started teasing them. I said, oh, is it because you don't want to turn on your camera? And they just went radio silence on me. So I thought, yeah, I got it. I realized, okay, that's probably why.
Well, see, you're using one of my terms, radio silence. That's what I try to do right before I do the shows. I don't pick up the phone. I don't talk to anybody unless it's my lovely wife. But I go to radio silence at that time.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I said to them, don't be shy, because black people, they always want to look their best and their freshest. And so I said, don't worry about that. You don't have to turn on the camera. Just call me. We can talk just audio. And I think they're realizing, okay, well, we don't have to turn on the camera. Okay, then that's cool. I might try it then. So, but obviously for the video messaging, for the whole purpose of that, for the visitation in prisons, well, obviously the whole purpose of that is to have the video on so they can see their kids. So I want to know what you think about this thing, because this is my opinion, and I am very excited. I'm just curious, because if it was me, I don't want to take my kids on a car ride or a train ride. It's a hell, because there was actually, are we there yet? And there was fidgeting, and they don't like to keep still for too long, and they're kids, they don't, their thought process and their attention span is not good. So if you've got to travel for hours and hours, then when you get to the jail, you've got to do more sitting around and waiting around. That's going to be very stressful and draining on whoever's taking them and having to do this whole thing on the way back just for an hour or two. Come on, when you could have been in your house, especially in the winter time or something, you could have just turned on the computer, sat the kids in front of it, said, speak to daddy for the next hour or so. Done! Don't you think so?
Yeah, and again, you're doing things for the right reasons. You're encouraging people to stay in contact, and so as we talk to them, it to me it would be better, because I don't know, and I guess we'll talk about that when we come back. How spread out is it as far as the visits and where people are incarcerated, et cetera, in the UK?
Yeah, I mean, people, we're going to have to take a short break now. I mean, I see, now that is something for you to marinate on while we go to break. Just, think about it. would you take your kids on that long trip, or would you prefer to just stay here? Talk to that person in front of the TV. Let's do it, So, you think about that. The next track coming up is going to be All I Need, Method Man featuring Mary J. Blige. You just have a think about that, and we will be right back.
Shorty, I'm here for you anytime you need me. For real, girl, it's me in your world. Believe me, nothing make a man feel better than a woman. Queen with a crown that be down for whatever. There are few things that's forever. My lady. Every dog needs a lady. And every dog needs a down-ass bitch. Feel me?
Hi, welcome back. You are listening to the Ask Avani Show on SoMetro Radio. I've got K-Rose in the Dallas studios. Hi, K-Rose.
Hello, Avani.
Hello. See, today's topic, people, welcome back. Today's topic is prison visit versus new concept. Now, just before the break, we were talking about, some of these video messaging services and things that are, available now because of technology. I love technology. And I just wanted to mention that, you just been listening to Ja Rule featuring Charlie Baltimore, Down Ass Chick. That's the politically correct term.
Yeah, but that's not what they were saying. But that's
not what he calls it. But I see that tune is a tune, and I love that tune, and I just wanted that song in the show today because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but subliminally, as this show came together in my brain, I was looking for music, and I suddenly realized that all the artists, the tracks that I wanted to play, they had either been in jail or had extensive troubles with the law. And I suddenly realized, hold on a second, this is just too much. I had to include some of these artists and some of these tracks because Ja Rule went to jail. We know Tupac went to jail. We know B.I.G. went to jail. I mean, there's just so many that haven't even gone to jail. But see, I'm going to bring it back again. The positive is that they went to jail. Even when they was in jail, they was working on their craft. And they said, listen, I've been here. I ain't coming back here. I'm going to make it so that when I come out of here, I'm going to be, I'm going to do well. And that's the positive thing that I want to keep going back to that. Because obviously today we are mentioning about especially black men going to jail. And we noticed that black men especially go to jail for a long time when they get sent to jail. It's years. It's not a couple of months. So to rehabilitate them, my thing, especially over here in the UK, because I know in America they've already started this, haven't they, K-Rose, the video messaging.
Yes.
I think that over here in the UK, we need to, I'm going to have to lobby some Home Secretary or Ministry of Justice, because I think that really they need to start incorporating this, because I argue for it because I think it's a part of rehabilitation. Staying in contact with people, keeping communication is part of rehabilitation. And there are some stories, guys, that I'm going to share with you on my Twitter page, Ask Avani Show, that I want to, after the show, we're going to share these, because these are just some of the stories that inspired me to want to talk about this. When I realized that there's, there's a terrorist, a UK terrorist, who wanted to make a call to his family using Skype, but they told him no. And this is a UK person, right? He was sentenced, I think he was sentenced at Woolwich Crown Court or something like that. And they turned around and they said, no, because you're a computer tech guy and we don't trust you. We think you're going to start putting subliminal messages in there and everybody all sorts of stuff. So they didn't trust him, and they said, no, you can't do it. So he's not, basically he wanted to use Skype, and they said, no, you're not allowed to use Skype. So he was upset and he wanted to complain about that. But I must say, there are a few artists, and now, K-Rose, you're going to know especially about this guy, Phil Spector.
Yes. Yes.
It's people like that. So it's not just rappers that go to jail for misdemeanors and serious crimes. There are people like Phil Spector. Obviously, we know about Lil Wayne. Lil Kim, Fela Kuti, he's a Nigerian Afrobeat pioneer, instrumentalist, and he's a political activist as well. Let me see. Chuck Berry. Oh, again, we know about Tupac. I mean, there's loads. Okay, and I suddenly realised that a lot of these people, they've had their troubles and their trials and tribulations with the law, and they've all gone on to still be successful in their own way, haven't they? So
Well, that's the thing about talking about anything when it comes, talks about, black men or minorities, period, because there are a lot of the, Latinos in prison also. And there are a lot of white men in prison.
It's been Rose. I'm sorry to cut you, but you know what? Please, I hate that terminology. Why do they call us ethnic minority?
Well, but and that's I agree with you, because as far as I'm concerned, we are the majority of the earth.
No, because I'm living at hold on a second. When you go to, especially over here in the UK, when you go to some of these like towns and cities, Birmingham and Manchester, and all these places, if you look around, even over here in London, if you go to places like East London and such, if you look around in them communities and those towns, there's more black people and or Asian people than there are white people. So who are they calling ethnic minority? I think, hold on, you should ask yourself about if you're in this particular part of the town. Because I don't like that terminology. Because minority to me means less than. And I'm not less than anybody. So why would they class you as a minority, like to put you down, like, oh, you don't mean nothing? I don't like that.
You're minor. And that's the thing that, as I mentioned, the people who are in control of framing things, they frame it as that. And for the most part, we might be. It's just like if I go to my son's school, I am a minority as far as age is concerned, because I'm one of the few people in the school that are at a certain age, because the school has mostly children there.
Wow.
And so while I'm at the school, I'm in the minority.
Right.
While I'm in school or with him, but it's to say, it's what you said, it's a negative thing when it comes to race, because really the world is actually populated by more people of color than there are of those people that are not.
Yeah, there's going to be even more mixed race people now, so because obviously a lot more people are, those barriers of being prejudiced are breaking down, and more people, are forming relationships and having children with, people across different races, which is fine. So how are you going to keep calling someone an ethnic minority? No, I'm sorry, I'm not an ethnic minority. I just had to mention that because I just don't like that terminology. And it upsets me when they do that over here. I'm like, who are you calling an ethnic minority? Come on now. And the thing is, though, I wanted to mention as well, even though all these artists that I've mentioned, and many others, I know there are more, that have gone on to be, after their little sojourn in jail, they've gone on to be quite successful. So, it's not just limited to rappers and people like that. Because, see, over here in the UK, we call that a stay at Her Majesty's pleasure.
Okay, and so let's say that one more time. We're going to have our definition of the week, and that is stay at Her Majesty's pleasure.
Yeah, so basically, you see, like most of the jails over here, it starts with HMP, which is Her Majesty's pleasure. So you are a visitor, you're a guest at Her Majesty's pleasure because you've done something stupid, and they decided that you need to go away for a while, so you're going to jail. So now you are staying at Her Majesty's pleasure. So usually your prison has a name like HMP Belmarsh or something like that. So when you go there, where are they? They just say, oh, I'll see that HMP wherever.
Okay.
That just used to make me laugh when I saw that, because I'm thinking, yeah, HMP, Her Majesty's pleasure. But it is her pleasure because she can keep you in there for as long as she likes, especially if you're stealing her money. Oh, yeah, you don't mess with the Queen's money. See, the banks are invariably owned by the Queen. So if you're a bank robber and you're out there stealing, you're trying to steal the Queen's money, and she don't play that. So you have to go away and stay at HMP, Her Majesty's pleasure.
Okay, I got it. And that, again, I love when we go into these moments.
But I wanted to mention, the stories I've said to you guys, I'm going to post these, so please don't feel left out. We're going to post these. So, all these stories where we've got about the terrorists and such who don't get to call home, because there's one that I want to mention, actually, this Guantanamo detainee. Now, this guy is apparently, his family are based in the UK, and we're not going to go into the full history of why he is in jail, because he's in American jail. He's in Guantanamo Bay. Well, yeah, he's in Guantanamo Bay. And basically the story is that he only got to call home after nearly 10 years. And how did he get to call home? Using Skype. So that was kind of quite interesting. I was like, oh wow, so these people have been keeping him away from his family all that time, and in all that time he hasn't been allowed to speak to them. That's wicked. He's got kids he's never even met, because when he went to jail, one of